for coming and sparing time to listen to this session. And the gentleman on my left doesn't need any much introduction, very familiar, an icon of the region who's inspired and motivated a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs. We are thankful Arnav, the youngest entrepreneur who joined us today. And I request our PARI president, Mr. Puneet Vatsayani, to take on the session. Thank you very much for taking out your time.
Thanks, Samir. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I start the session, I just thought I'd introduce Arnav. Arnav is the winner of the TYE, which is the Thai Youth Entrepreneurship Program. So certainly, I think once after we're done with the session, we'll take your autograph. So it's always a delight when you have young entrepreneurs come in. I remember our Thai global meeting about a year and a half ago. So we were in Silicon Valley, and our president at that time, the Thai global president at that time, Sirin Bhutia, had brought in a young kid, a couple of years older than you, 16 years old. That guy had done 4 entrepreneurial ventures and exited out of 3. Okay, sold one to Microsoft, sold the other to whatever. He started at 9. And I'll tell you, in the room were a lot of accomplished entrepreneurs, and all of us, had our heads down because that guy outdid all of us hands down. So, welcome. The topic we have today is something that has come after a lot of our discussions with a lot of people that we've spent time with. It's something in Chandigarh that a lot of people do not have access to, which is pitching to a VC and what is the right valuation. Both are very uncomfortable questions, especially for an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur typically feels that this is his venture, he knows a lot about it, but somehow the investors don't share that same degree of belief in that idea. So having said that, I thought I would just make it a very interactive session. My first question is, how many of you have actually pitched to an investor? What has that experience been like?
Series of experiences.
When you?
It starts from the first meeting. It looks very constructive. He says, "Oh, yes, you are wonderful," and suddenly everything vanishes. There's no follow-up. There's no. You keep sending emails. Second meeting, you bring your valuation down. You pitch it strongly, and everything is going good. So it goes to that valuation phase also. Okay, now let us do a scrutiny of your documents and everything, and then suddenly vanish. Then lot of reasons. That's the very biggest experience I have. Investor comes to me, he says, "Yeah, tomorrow product begega." Okay, sir, we have one customer, very paying customer, regularly paying from last 2 months. Very good. यार 1-2 कस्टमर से नहीं होगा, वो बिग शॉट लेके आओ. सर, we have Samsung with us. यार एक Samsung से क्या होगा? 3-4 होने चाहिए. So once you reach that level, then you don't read easily. Then you read. So that's the experience which I have. It's uncertain. Yes, it is time consuming. It is an energy taker. But yes, it's a lot of knowledge you come back. My learning from all that, whenever I pitch and whenever I face a failure, I go back to that business model. Okay, why it failed, and we were able to revive the business model again. Okay, this is the segment what we are looking for. This is what he was looking for, which we don't have. So let us start building it up. So that really gives me energy back and a business back.
What about you?
Actually, my first experience was with you, if you remember.
I do not remember.
Actually, I came to your office, I think 6-8 months back. So it was after that you guided me that okay, as a starter you should look out for not for VC particularly, but I mean for the fund. So I took that advice, and then we somehow from the family, from the friends, so we were able to do a reasonable turnover this year, means grow up 1 CR. So going on, so presently we don't need a VC at this point of time, so might be we carry on like this. So your advice helped.
Thanks.
Amit? Well, we are in the throes of actually pitching in the next 3 to 6 months. So I won't say I've pitched, but essentially at some very initial level of conversation. One thing that dawned on us is the extent of preparation that is required to make a good pitch is hugely different than you would otherwise imagine without being educated about it. Other is that there is seemingly very conflicting and contrarian advice as to when to approach or meet a VC as opposed to pitch to them. So one is to say that it's a relationship that builds over a period of time. The other is to say you go only when you are prepared. So I mean, we had some initial experiences that make us feel that it's actually much better to have all your materials ready, to have the answers to some of the template questions that are going to be asked. At the same time, to have a very objective assessment, have you reached a stage, a point where sufficient risk on the technology side, on the business side, and on the execution side have been mitigated for the series that you're looking for and for the kind of capital investment you're looking for. So, and the other is of course to be able to, as opposed to just going to generalists or to anybody that you can come across, is to go to people who are very specific to your industry. So that's been some initial lesson, but I'm looking to learn from you.
I'll give you some experiences that we've had in the last 2 months. We've had a guy from Chandigarh, I will not take names. This guy, we spent a lot of time preparing him. He's got a very robust business plan. He's gone about building a commercially viable product. He's got some revenue, a fairly decent team. And when it came down to a pitch, it was a conference call we did for about 10 odd investors. The guy simply blew it. And there were a couple of people who were interested in his pitch on a piece of paper, on his business plan, on a piece of paper. But when he was asked to present, the guy completely blew it and there was no investor interest. And the reason why he blew it was no different than when we go to an interview or we going for our first date. The idea is to make a very compelling opening statement, and this guy failed to do it. There are a number of ways to tell your story. This guy's story was he joined family business, did multiple businesses for about 7-8 years, got into the call center business, got out of the call center business, and now got into the education domain. He had a lot of technical issues rolling out his product. He had mitigated those technical issues. He had a lot of issues, initial team-related issues. He had mitigated those issues. But when it came to an investor talk, this is what he spent. He spent the first 15 minutes talking about his first 10 years of business life. He spent the next 15 minutes talking about all the challenges he faced. By the time the investor already switched off. What he should have really done is spend 2 minutes talking about the business opportunity that was there. And in that 2 minutes talk about all the achievements he had and where he was and what he would take on moving ahead. I mean, all of us in whatever room, and when we meet a stranger, are driven in that first 2-3 minutes, the first 5 minutes. And it takes a very long time to recover after that, if those 5 minutes go wrong. No different if you are selling anything. And hence, a lot of emphasis goes on preparing for a pitch. If you ever Google it, it would make a lot of sense for each one of you if you are planning to do an investor pitch, to spend a lot of time, go stand in front of the camera, go and stand in front of a mirror, record yourself multiple times, look at your voice intonation. For example, in the US, when you have a presidential race, which is going on right now, I can assure you that both Obama and Romney, who is the leading contender on the Republican side, before any major speech, spend hours and hours and hours in front of advisors, test group, audience, rehearsing. And a lot of us, especially in North India, for some of the most important things that is going in front of an investor, don't spend in the kind of effort that is required. And when we come out, we say, boss, plan to bada acha tha, but traction nahi. So, and to get money is a long journey, but those first 5 minutes does become very important. If anyone else wants to talk about their pitch or how to refine it, I'm around. The second question most entrepreneurs do is after they've pitched and they've gone ahead is what is the valuation of your company? There are certain thumb rules. There's a guy who walked in my office and it was a very interesting conversation I had with him. This guy's a husband and wife team. No revenue. Alpha. 4 or 5 employees. This guy was looking for about 50 lakhs to a crore. And I'd asked him, for 50 lakhs to a crore, how much are you willing to let go? And he said 5%. And I was like, how did you arrive at that 5% number? Just help me understand how you arrived at that 5% number. So this is what the guy said. He said, I talked to a guy who had graduated from the London School of Business. We looked at our discounted cash flow for the next 10 years. And hence our valuation is this. So as a thumb rule, I'll tell you, irrespective of your funding round and irrespective of the amount of money you are seeking, be prepared to lose between 20 to 40% of your company. Irrespective of whatever you do. So that's a thumb rule. So where does that valuation come from? It's a gut feeling. How much you can get out for 20 to 40% is a function of how well you present yourself and how robust your business model is. I'll give you another example. We have another team, and getting your valuation right for the first round of funding is very, very, very important. As an angel network, you invested in a company, a great team, they raised about a crore for $2 million, pre-money valuation. Sameer, they diluted about 10%. They raised a crore at 10 crore valuation. Within 6 months, they had to go to the market again. When they went to the market again, they now have a run rate of 30 lakhs a month. So it's a company that's ramped up fairly quickly from October to now. The multiple they got was 1.25. What's the reason? For folks that value them more richly, were not equipped, and hence they factored in. A lot of their achievements got factored in earlier. So here was a set of entrepreneurs who were incredibly happy that they got, for a crore, they diluted 10%. But when it came to round 2, they didn't get the valuation they were looking for. Because these guys had already factored in a lot of their achievements. Okay, and as an entrepreneur, it's always an uncomfortable question of how much to let go. If there are any specific questions on valuations, I can talk you through the number of thumb rules. We've been involved in, but the normal thumb rule is very simple. Either it's a function of EBITDA, research or industry, it's a function of EBITDA. It's a function of revenue. And if you're pre-revenue, it's a function of the quality of your team. Here's another interesting case. There's a family office of a very accomplished individual. That family office put in money, some serious money in an entrepreneurial venture. It's a convertible note, so which means it's not for equity. It'll convert in 3 years out, but at 1x of revenue. Because this team has presented a very optimistic revenue number. Having said that, why don't we talk real life situations and then I can share with you what my experiences have been. Anyone have any questions on that?
Other side where I haven't really looked at going to the VCs, and I've always been caught up in two minds whether to go or not. The primary reason being, which you pointed out, that will they share the same passion of the product that or the model we have as the people who are doing it, or when we give away that percentage of the company, will that not be an interference, and then will it not dilute the whole way how we want to take it forward? Like, will they not, no, हमने भी ऐसे किया है, तो why not, we want it this way, or does that not complicate things? I don't know. I'm coming from a very fresh perspective.
Fair enough. It's like any other relationship. You have to get used to it. It's a different person you are going to get. It's no different than a marriage. Right? Sometimes you have lucky marriages, sometimes you have unlucky marriages. It's a function of chemistry. I think as an entrepreneur, what you really need to be very careful about is what kind of money are you looking for? Okay? And what kind of investors are you approaching? There are some investors that are dividend investors. Okay, they don't care about a scalable business, they don't care about whatever. वो कहते हैं यार मैंने 20 लाख रुपए लगाए हैं, मुझे 12 से 18 या 24% रिटर्न साल की आ जानी चाहिए. How you get it is your headache. Okay, I have given it to you as an unsecured loan, but I'm looking for a dividend. Typically, businesses that are dividend play are restaurants, coffee shops, service companies, government contractors. These are dividend companies. Job work, print shops, retail. These are typically dividend companies. And the appetite of what that guy is looking for the rent margin, right? And your need at that time. There will be someone looking for 26% as well. Then you have angel investors who are equity investors but are not looking for dividends. They are valuation plays. It's like investing in property in Chandigarh. Chandigarh में कोई rent के लिए नहीं लेता. वो इसलिए करता है कि value of my property is going to increase. Okay. So angel investors are valuation players. VCs are valuation players. Okay. They are in your business to get a oversized return on investment. Those kind of people are betting on a horse or a team or a business idea or a business opportunity that gives them that outsized returns. Now comes 2 points. One school of thought says money is green. Take it from whichever source, howsoever you get it. The other says I will take intelligent money. The choice of which money you take depends on you. My thought process is that go for dumb money if you have an outside set of people who can advise you in your maturity. Because dumb money has the least kind of complications. Okay. Complications in terms of personalities, board control, and other issues, right? But all entrepreneurs on the first entrepreneurial venture, especially a scalable venture, require a degree of mental growth along with capital growth. Okay. Mental growth is how do you get a 100% growth, how do you manage a team, how do you manage sales force, how do you get, how do you get scale into your business. That's a mental journey in entrepreneur as well. How do you manage senior people in the company? So that guy requires constantly mentoring. Lots of us all still go to our mentors because of our issues. So if you take dumb capital, then it's very important for you to have a set of go-to people where you can go and have lots of coffees to get intellectual input. If you are an entrepreneur in a hurry, dumb capital will take you to go a little slower. So if you are a person in a hurry, then you go to a VC who has done companies like yours before. So they have certain experience to share. And you participate in a certain ecosystem. The ecosystem is the guy can bring in co-founders, the guy can bring in whatever. At the moment there's a lot of hype between what a VC brings to the table. Okay, so set your expectations right. VCs only bring that things to the table of what you seek. Ultimately, it's your journey, not the VC's journey. Okay. VCs are in it. They don't care about your product. They don't care about what you do. What they care about is return on capital to them. It is चाहे वो क्लाइनर हो, चाहे वो सकोया हो, चाहे वो कोई भी हो. ठीक है. The question becomes that typically if you get stuck with a VC who has largely been a McKinsey consultant before, okay, or who has been an iBanker before, chances are you are host. Because that guy has an opinion on how business is done, will exert himself on your thought process. Okay. So choose, if you are very early stage, choose those VCs who have traveled the path before and they have operated or started companies before, even if they are not in your domain. Choose a VC or an iBanker when you are on your second or third round of capital, because then they will add significant value. But if you have a McKinsey consultant driving you right at a $200,000 investment, he will drive you nuts. Okay. Because at that time you are in a trial and error phase.